Ladies of Reddit, what are your abnormally small or large penis stories? Small. My first boyfriend in high school. We had pretty much experienced everything together, so I assumed that was the normal size. I never got off from him. I was very surprised with the next guy I slept with. Big. Some guy I met on Tinder a few years ago for a random hookup. I was not expecting the size of his member. Needless to say, we went to Pound Town. Because why not? Afterwards, I ended up taking the subway back home hunched over from what felt like abdominal pain, and someone actually asked me if I was okay. Thank you, stranger. Luckily it was a weekend, because I spent the whole next day lying down in the bathtub. There was a special needs kid in the high school locker room. He had the biggest doing any of us had ever seen. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. He isn't actually special needs. His brain just doesn't get sufficient blood supplied to it to function. Therefore has special needs. A guy asked me to guess whether he had an abnormally small or large penis. It was in fact a normal sized penis. This move should be called the reverse bait and switch. They get scared that it's going to be either tiny or huge, and then relieved when they find out it's normal. Pretty sneaky if you ask me. Not romantic, work related. I was taking care of a guy in his late 80s who was losing strength quickly. He was dying and flat refused to allow me to fully assist him to the toilet. Finally he insisted he was going to walk to the bathroom, and it became too difficult. He almost lost consciousness and I had to physically move him back to his chair while he argued with me, frantic about his need to pee. I grabbed a trash can, all that was on hand, and told him, grab your walker and hang on. I will do everything else. As I did, he confessed out, I have a very tiny penis. I responded, I don't care, and I'm not looking. Because he said that I noticed, and yeah, it was the tiniest little nub of nothing tbh. But more than anything I felt sorry that someone that old, in that condition, was worried about that size. I was with a guy one time who had the weirdest penis. It was curved like a hook, like it was curved back onto itself. I don't know how he had sex, and I wasn't about to find out, so I just kind of stroked it. Instead of coming he went. It's a piece from this. There was a young man from Kent whose tool was so long that it bent. To save himself trouble, he put it in double, and instead of coming, he went. As a junior in HS, my friends and I had a class that was considered a backwood study hall in the library once a week. There was always a kid in there that was a freshman and was known to brag about the size of his dong. He literally somehow brought it up every time we were around him, and we'd always just roll our eyes. One day, I dared him to prove it. I didn't honestly think he would. After looking quickly to see if there were any teachers around, all of a sudden we see what I can only describe as a massive pork sword flop out from underneath his desk and damn near hit the floor. My 17-year-old mind couldn't even process the size of it at the time. I just remember the gasp noise that the five of us made as we made eye contact with it. Still to this day, as a woman in my 30s, the biggest dong I've ever seen was that of a 14-year-old kid. Pretty sure the last sentence put you on a list somewhere. Well, I probably should have ended with it's still the biggest I've ever seen. At least you didn't say it's still the oldest I've ever seen. Dated a girl whose last bloke had a micro penis. She was a bit shocked, but though it would be rude to show it, and decided to give him a blowjob. But halfway through she said she suddenly thought this is what being a pedophile must be like, and couldn't finish. Said she still felt very guilty about not finishing him off but just couldn't do it. Did she tell him this was the reason why she was unable to finish it? It would have been more humane for her to just murder his family. I shall call him Thumb. 6FT6 super hot athlete. Been on a few dates. Excellent chemistry and got on really well. So we are getting down to it, and normally you can feel a guy getting hard through his trousers. But nope, nothing. So maybe he's not hard. Then he tells me that he is in fact hard and starts talking about his big cock. So down my hand moves, and there's something there, but why has he got his thumb down his pants? And then it dawns on me. His penis is the size of a thumb. Maybe an inch and a half. And when I look at it, it is the same size, shape and width as a thumb. I'd like to say he made up for size and skill, but he didn't. 5 seconds of oral isn't going to do much, nor is just jamming your finger in me with no thought or skill. And it occurred to me, he had just gotten by on his looks, and chances of people who he was having sex with were probably just going through the motions. I felt kind of sorry for him, because he genuinely thought he was excellent in bed, and looked very puzzled as to why it wasn't really rocking my world. AHH. I see you ran into Jon Hamm's character from 30 Rock. Except Jon Hamm is supposedly hung. I remember reading something about the costume designers on Mad Men had trouble with keeping it concealed. You can see a paparazzi picture online of it. He's in a suit, and only at half-mast, but you can clearly see Jon Hamm. Yes, I have researched those pictures very thoroughly for science reasons. I appreciate you. I was finishing the last of my drink when I walked into my bedroom and he was already fully naked rock hard. It was partly the surprise of how bold he was, but also that his penis was exceptionally small. It was about the length of my finger and not much thicker either. It really was tiny. I ended up spitting out my drink and then badly faking that I choked for like a minute. He was actually good in bed in the end. One of my friends said that this was a move on a TV show called The Naked Man Rule and was surprised it worked on me. Damn. The madman actually did the naked man rule and it worked. 2/3 times I guess. Legend, wait for it, Dari. I had a buddy on my high school soccer team who had a full-grown iguana in his pants. This was exacerbated by the fact that he refused to wear compression shorts when he played. He would wear boxer shorts at best. Running around, it looked like a baby's arm with a clenched fist bouncing around, and on some occasions free kicks and such. The guy's trouser snake would come out for a bit of fresh air. To this day I have no idea if he was a great soccer player or if people just didn't want to get close enough to have their knees taken out. Not a lady, but in the high school locker room I was kinda terrified because this guy who was maybe 5'2" and I doubt weighed more than 120 pounds had the biggest sklang ever. Wasn't expecting it, but he took his pants off and I swear it was almost at his knee. One of the seniors just went, "Oops, what is that thing?" And everyone looked. It was probably amplified by how out of proportion it looked on his frame as well. If Shaq has anything under a 15, it'll look small on his frame. Yao Ming had a legendary response related to this once. Someone asked him if it was true that height correlated with size. He responded, "Of course not. If it did I'd be 9 feet tall." Things I didn't wake up today thinking about. Yao Ming's huge cock. Things I will fall asleep tonight thinking about. Yao Ming's huge cock. Guy here. My brother was having computer issues for a little while and called me over. Being the family tech, we decided to format. Going through his computer backing up his documents, then his photos. I noticed this huge cartoon looking cock on a thumbnail. So I click it and here is this huge darn with a cock ring in. I honestly thought it was CGI, it looked so big. Clicked next and another. And another. Now I'm thinking to myself, WTF kind of weird fetish does he have? The next one, the cock is beside an Arizona iced tea can. And it's longer and just as wide, if not wider. I then lean back thinking again to myself, WTF kind of Scythian too. The room comes into focus and on the desk is the same Arizona can on the photo. The color of the desk matches in the photo and so does the carpet. At this point I realized it's not a kink. It's my little brother's matzadang. I'm male. My senior year of football camp. After practice or a game everybody showers because nobody wants your sweaty ass in their car. 99% of the players understood that they would be wearing at least boxers into the group showers. One freshman kid did not. And he had nothing to be ashamed of. He was packing heat. The team made jokes about it all year. It looked me in the eyes and I was scared. "Hey pal, you can't bring a bat onto the field, you would have caught that if you didn't have that anchor weighing you down." Some positive teasing. Added, till my school was more conservative about the dude showers than other schools. Huh. Boxers in the showers? What? I had a neighbor. We flirted in the hallway and everything. He always wore grey sweatpants, so I could see a rather large bulge. I met him at the club one night. One thing led to another, and we are back at his place, with his tongue down my throat. He's about to whip it out. I'm excited. I'd always seen his grey sweatpant bulge and it was smaller than one of the baby cactuses at a plant store. I thought it was flaccid. Honestly, it was not flaccid. I thought I would make do with what I had, you know? When I put it in my mouth, he barely went past my teeth. It was no more effort than sucking on a lollipop. I have no idea what the hell was that bulge. Did he keep something in his pockets all the time? It's hell, that guy was doing his work. He stuffed something to make a bulge when he thought he was going to talk to you. Seems like it worked. I'm a straight married guy, but I found myself in a club in West Hollywood while entertaining some out of town guests. I was standing with my back against a stage, just people watching, when a stripper came out on the stage wearing nothing but a see-through Speedo. It just happened that when I turned back to look, he was, at that moment, crouching down to thrust his junk at my face. Now I've seen a few penises in my day, but I've never seen anything like that meat log before. If he had set that beast free and started swinging it around, he would have smacked people in the back of the room. I couldn't help but feel impressed, terrified and inadequate all at the same time. I'm a straight married guy, but I found myself in a club in West Hollywood while entertaining some out-of-town guests. Hate it when that happens. Why do all these homosexuals keep sucking my cock?